This State of the City breakfast would not be complete without our all-important guest, Mayor G. Fred Robinson. I can honestly say that working with Mr. Robinson for nearly 20 years in different capacities, as a reporter and an editor, and now a Chamber of Commerce executive, that Mayor Robinson, a U.S. Army vet and former executive officer of the Prince George's County Police Department, is truly a man of his word and a man of integrity, someone who's very proud of his hometown, and someone who for decades now has worked to make the city prosper. I think it's important to point out, and this is part of my investigative stuff coming out, that under Mayor Robinson's leadership, the city's tax base was about $1 billion. And today, even after some significant hits during recent real estate troubling times and challenges, the city's tax base is more than $6 billion. And just as impressive is that the property tax rate for the city has been held flat for the past 5 years. And I think that deserves a round of applause right there. Fred has obviously been not only a great friend to the business community, but also a great cheerleader as well, although you don't necessarily want to see him in his uniform, and his pom-poms just aren't what they used to be. But with all that being said, Mr. Mayor, we had to have one terrible joke in there. We invite you to come forward and take over this podium, and to the audience, we invite you to hold your questions until the end. And ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure I introduce to you our Mayor, Fred Robinson.
You ought to hide behind that camera. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody this morning? You'll be better in a few minutes. But, thanks, sir. Always nice to get a charge out of BG&E. Yeah, well, oftentimes we refer to him as Sparky, but thank you. But I want to take a second before I get into I don't get a chance to say this much. You know, over the years we've had some challenges with electric service and stuff, but I tell you, a couple of years back, council then decided to do some serious work with trees and whatever. It was not without controversy. But I tell you, as a consumer and as a friend, BG&E has made some incredible strides over the last few years, and you know your performance and your restoration services have just been great. So, whatever you're doing, keep it up. So, we've been gathered here like this a number of times over the years, and every time, first off, I'm always amazed that anybody would get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and listen to anything I have to say. But I really appreciate you being here and appreciate your support. You know, your hospitality as a chamber has always been a thing of value for me, and I really appreciate it. And we really appreciate what you do for the community. As we've often said, that when the residential community grows and the business community grows together, both prosper. And to our extent, we appreciate everything you do. And like I've said on those other occasions here, I'm proud to say today that the state of the city of Bowie is strong. We are still moving forward, everything is exciting, and we still divide the world into two groups, people who live here and people that should. We're strong not only because we study and we're guided by sound fiscal policies, but because we take our planning process seriously. We plan, we look forward, we study, we do everything that we can do to anticipate the future. And this is extremely important. We also plan for what's unexpected so that we can be in a position to embrace the future. Now, together we've experienced a variety of events that have been affected by a lot of outside forces over the years. We've seen economic turmoil and terrorist attacks on our nation. We've experienced snowstorms and state budget cuts, falling property values and foreclosures, but we've weathered all of those storms. And I'm proud to say that Bowie remains strong, and we are indeed well positioned to advance to the future. Now, while we can't control the national economy and the employment rate, we can and we do influence the local economy in positive ways through policies and tax rates. And by creating a business-friendly environment and providing the best environment for you to run your business. We maintain our streets and sidewalks. We plow our streets quickly and effectively. We offer recreational amenities in forms of parks and indoor facilities, and the city police patrol the city's neighborhoods and our business areas. Our goal is to create an environment that is safe and inviting for our residents, and one that encourages businesses to bloom. Now, I don't know if anybody's here from Inovalon, but I wanted to take a second, speaking about businesses that bloom and grow. I want to congratulate Inovalon. They're a multi-million-dollar company based in Bowie, and from my point of view, important because they're our largest single private employer. This company, which provides analytics and database technology services to the healthcare center, will soon go public with an initial public offering of over $500 million of Class A stock. Inovalon reported net income of almost $52 million for the 9 months ending in September, up from $27 million a year earlier. Now that is an accomplishment, and congratulations to Inovalon for a job well done. In terms of the city's finances, I'm going to offer again our succinct observation. Our conservative budget is balanced, our bills are paid, and we've got substantial reserves. Our revenue comes from residential property taxes, state shared income taxes, business taxes, license fees, and grants from local governments. We pride ourselves on our commitment to fiscal responsibility and to the retention of our prestigious AAA bond rating, one of 2 municipalities in the state of Maryland that can claim such a feat. For fiscal 2016, we expect the budget to be close to what it's been for the last couple of years, with an operating budget of about $46 million. We will continue to focus our attention on our spending for core services, with 53% of the budget dedicated to public works and to public safety. As we begin planning for the next fiscal year this spring, my colleagues and I are determined to keep costs controlled, and we plan to keep taxes stable. It is our goal once again to produce a reasonable budget that not only meets our standards, but will, with my colleagues' concurrence, hold taxes flat for the 6th consecutive year. Congratulations, Council. Now, you've heard me say frequently that one of the great reasons the city is so successful is because of dedicated city staff. But I've never gone beyond that statement and try to explain what I really mean. So this year I want to take a moment or two to highlight a few of the more than 400 employees that make the city run, and I believe make the city the envy of the region. I want to start with Rick Kellner. Rick is an example of the fine employees of our Parks and Grounds Division. As a city forester, he oversees the care of trees in our parks, on our public facilities, and along our streets. Not only do trees provide shade, they also bring charm and beauty to an area. They turn a development into a neighborhood. These are the things that go sometimes without notice, but they are truly effective. Rick and his team quickly and effectively fight invasions of emerald ash borers. Sounds like a law team, or a law firm, I think. And other species that attack the trees in his care, and he shares his expertise with the community and with businesses and whatever. He and his coworkers are the first to respond, by the way, day or night, whenever weather knocks down a tree over a city street or over a sidewalk. Benny Henderson, a member of the Bowie Police Department assigned to our Community Services Unit. Every police officer from the chief down is a community policing officer. But the majority of our outreach programs are organized and operated through the Community Services Unit. Besides being an experienced police officer and one of the original 6 members of the Bowie Police Department, Benny has been instrumental to the success of all the department's outreach programs. You'll find him sorting toys donated to the annual Toys for Tot drive. You'll find him speaking to seniors about how to avoid being a victim of a crime. You'll see him at Bowie High School, the various facilities, talking to chamber people about how to monitor trends and how to protect each other. And you'll see him doing the planning for our really successful National Crime Out event every August. He understands the importance of building community ties, and he knows what community policing is all about. Jamie Braun is one of our code compliance officers. Like her peers in the division, she's committed to preserving the inviting nature of Bowie's neighborhoods by maintaining the standards that are set forth in the city code. She's hardworking, she's friendly, she's practical, and she knows her job inside and out. She's also well respected by her peers across the state, having served as president of the Maryland chapter of Code Enforcement and Zoning Officers. And John Illig, he manages the city's water plant, which supplies water to over 8,000 city homes. John has worked for the city for almost 50 years. He can tell you about the rainwater that fell on this city hundreds of years ago that fills the aquifers that we're using today. Not only does he know the geology that created these aquifers, but he knows the chemistry to keep the water safe and delivers it effectively. Now, None of these people have what you might call glamorous jobs. But these individuals are on the front lines of city government every day, keeping the water flowing, keeping the trees growing, keeping the neighborhoods neat, and keeping the community safe. They reflect their peers throughout the city government in their experience and in their expertise and in their dedication to their jobs. The City Council and the residents of Bowie are fortunate to have them working with us, and we are very, very proud of them. Now, before I leave this topic, I'd like to give you a quick update on the Bowie Police Department. In early 2005, before a large majority of the electorate voted to support the establishment of a Bowie Police Department, the council and the city manager began to talk about what the city police department would look like. We wanted improved response times and safer neighborhoods, but community-based policing was central to the plan and has always remained the center core. Today, 8 years after the first officers began patrol in Bowie, the department is 61 officers strong. We have a patrol force, a criminal investigation division, a traffic unit, a community services program, and we base officers at the high school and at the Bel Air Annex. We have great relationships with residents and retailers, with community groups, and with our partners in the Prince George's County Police Department. Our officers work every day to build bridges with these groups through education and through community events, and have leadership that is approachable and an operation that is completely transparent. The officers reflect the community in both their demographics and their attachment to the community. They are part of Bowie, they are invested in Bowie, and they take crimes that threaten the safety and stability of Bowie very seriously. In 2016, we're going to take the next step in the department's evolution when we establish a Bowie Emergency Call Center that will ensure that callers that can reach the department's office 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they will talk to a human that knows our neighborhoods, knows our issues, and knows our hot button issues. The call center will also act as a communication hub for all city services during non-business hours. Emergency dispatch will continue to be operating by the county, but the initial calls for service will be handled by City of Bowie employees. I firmly believe that the work of these outstanding departments and the fine job done by all the other city departments contributes to the strength and the economic health and the economic development of this community. Now I'd like to talk about two different economic development projects that I think illustrate how the council and the staff work to achieve success. As I said earlier, we're conservative when it comes to spending money. We make a budget, we set goals for the future, we save for large purchases, and we never borrow money to meet operating costs. You know, I'm a client of Widman, so I have to look over every now and then and see this nice knowledge. But in other ways, we're innovators. The temptation in government is to do, when you find something that works, you keep doing it. That may be a good strategy when you're managing money, but it's not always a good strategy when you're managing government. That's why we frequently question ourselves and we challenge ourselves to see if we're doing things the best way and the most effective way, or if there's another way to achieve success. This is especially true when it comes to development within the city. Sometimes it's a small but not insignificant change in focus or strategy that can break a logjam of many years and ultimately yield desired results. Two recent development projects illustrate this point very well and highlight how the City Council and the city staff approach challenges. Most of you know the Marketplace Shopping Center was once a busy retail center with a movie theater, a department store, a bank, several dining options, and an anchor grocery store. Over the years, the center lost tenants and declined into the shell of its former self. Today, only Cheney's, Dry Cleaning, Depot, Glory Days, Rite Aid, and a couple of other small establishments remain among the empty storefronts and boarded windows. It's quite frankly an eyesore in the center of our city, and it's a stark contrast to the busy Free State Shopping Center across the street. We believe that Marketplace is vital to the economic health in the center of our city. We believe declining centers invite crime and mediocrity, and they discourage other development and investment nearby. But in Marketplace, multiple owners, economic downturns, and shopping competition here in Bowie and in Crofton have made improving the shopping center difficult to accomplish. Now, we could have thrown up our hands in despair, but we didn't. Instead, City staff attended and actively participated in international regional conferences, marketing Bowie everywhere we went. They reached out to grocery chains across the country looking for one interested in locating in Bowie. We worked at the state level for legislation to allow grocery stores in the city to sell beer and wine, which is a component of most marketing strategies for groceries these days. We worked and we continue to work with our state and county officials to secure funding for road improvements for 450 and 197. Refunding of fixed and 450 is absolutely critical to the lifeblood of this community, and we're thankful that the county and the state officials are on board and have raised it into the level of priority. So hopefully that project will continue forward. In mid-2013, Berman Enterprise took a risk. They bought the marketplace and actively began taking steps to revitalize the center. However, things did not move very quickly. Getting a grocery store to anchor the center proved difficult and extremely costly. But here is where planning and thought comes in handy. In 2011, the council established an economic incentive fund to be used when necessary to cultivate or retain businesses in the city. In establishing the fund, council recognized that sometimes before a government can be successful in nurturing new development and realizing new sources of tax revenue, it must first be a catalyst for development. Marketplace seemed like the perfect place to make that investment. So after much research and deliberation, some serious public discussion, in December 2014, council made a major commitment to future economic health for our community by approving almost $1 million in incentives to help Berman Enterprise move the redevelopment project forward in this current challenging condition. Council also agreed to support a grocery store gas station at the center, and in later phases of redevelopment to support some housing on the site. To that end, I want to publicly thank and congratulate the City Council for their thoughtful and courageous action. This action was not without controversy, but it was the right decision at the right time, and I want to thank Berman Enterprises for joining the council and moving this project forward and for investing in this city. Thank you guys for doing a great job. Specifically, the incentive package includes a transfer of a small parcel of land that's less than an acre at the entrance to the center. It also includes approximately $700,000 to raise the existing structures so that redevelopment can begin. Today, I'm pleased to tell you that demolition of the center is expected to commence within the next 6 months, and Berman Enterprises is in final negotiation with a major grocery chain to build a store at Marketplace. It will rise again starting this year. We estimate that a fully built and occupied Marketplace will bring in approximately $180,000 a year in tax revenues compared to the $24,000 a year that we get this year. In today's economy, at that location, we believe a fully occupied center could not be built if it weren't for the city's engagement and for the city's action. So again, thank you, council, for having the courage to move forward on that. The same willingness to look forward with fresh eyes at a project that never reached its potential can also be seen in the council's approach to development at Melford. In 1985, the large area north of 50 and to the east of 301 was approved as a high-quality business park where high-tech industries would cluster. The thought was that the businesses would be clamoring to put down roots at what was then called the University of Maryland Science and Technology Center. The city supported the idea wholeheartedly. At the request of the developers, we annexed the property and agreed to provide water and sewer service and to help manage their stormwater. The developer and the city agreed to a set of covenants on the property that protected the city's infrastructure investment and guaranteed that only uses compatible with the intended use would be developed. Over the years, this project has seen a variety of owners, very hard economic time, conflict among the owners, city, the county, and the state. It's been a divisive issue that has been stalled for far too long. Then in 2013, after much research, numerous discussions, and many meetings, the City Council stepped back, reevaluated the realistic chances of seeing a successful employment center at Melford, and came to the conclusion that fundamental change was essential. They took the bold and somewhat controversial step to change the covenants for Melford to a mixed use of office, retail, and allowing housing on the site. Current plans represent significant agreement between the city and the developer for a defining project that will give new life to Melfort and another quality development inside the city. The key decision set a new direction for the development of this property. The City Council voted to support St. John's revised mixed-use plan that will add 2,500 new dwellings, which includes over 1,000 senior-related housing units, 268,000 square feet of retail, and an additional 260,000 square feet of office space. This change in direction has multiple effects on the city. The project will move forward and will be a vibrant and attractive addition to the city. There will be a projected net gain to city tax revenues of about $1.5 million based on about $500 million of new tax base. The public safety surcharge revenue, which pays the city for additional public safety services, will bring in about $3.8 million. Over $1 million in building permits will be expected. More housing opportunities for seniors will be available here in Bowie. The traffic impact is estimated to be less than the original proposals. The city maintains site plan approval authority for all projects at Melfort. The developer has agreed to encourage minority, women, and disadvantaged business to participate in the development. And they have also agreed to make every reasonable effort to attract regular transit to the site. The concept plan is awaiting final action by the District Council in coming months. Our former colleague and one of the outstanding members of the Prince George's County Council, Mr. Todd Turner. We thank you for being here today, and we thank you for your future commitment to this project.
Since I made the tough decision.
Approval will clear the way for submission of individual subdivision and site plans for the various parts of the project. You can expect to see major infrastructure investment in this site beginning later this year. And I fully support this change. It's the right time and the right course. But again, this change would not be possible but for the City Council's decision to move forward. For that, again, I congratulate them. This was a tough call, and they answered it wisely and courageously. You guys are looking forward and moving past sometimes the controversies and looking at what's good for this city and where should we be and where can we be. And I know sometimes it's not an easy call, but here in front of God and everybody, I want to tell you thank you for what you did. You did the right thing. We're hopeful that a revitalized marketplace and a variety of employment opportunities and retail offerings and housing options at Marketplace will generate new interest in Bowie and bring a new generation of residents to join us here. Throughout our history, Bowie has been one of Bowie's strongest assets has been the deep roots of the people had in this community and their willingness to improve it for future generations. You can see this when young families grew up here, married, and decided to raise their kids in the community that nurtured them. Our challenge is to convince a new generation of people that Bowie remains a great place to live, a great real estate investment, a great community in which to raise a family, and a particularly great place to do business. It's not just tooting our own horns for our hometown. We've known about the greatness of Bowie for a long time. In fact, that tooting was reinforced in the fall of 2014 when Money Magazine named Bowie one of the 50 best small cities in the United States of America, coming in at number 28 and being one of only 4 communities in the Washington-Baltimore area to be so recognized. We're not exactly a hidden jewel anymore, but people now know where to find Bowie. Now, as you heard from our esteemed director, as mayor I wear many hats, but one of my most important and visible roles is cheerleader of the city of Bowie. And as long as I have a voice, I'll continue to spread the message about the benefits of being a Bowieite, about operating a business here, because Bowie is a terrific place. So, there are some projects on the horizon, city government and for our community. There will be some setbacks and some bumps along the way, and there will be some issues that we need to address. But I am absolutely confident that the council and the government are up to the challenges that lay ahead and that Bowie will continue to remain strong and will continue to provide world-class services to those who operate business here or who choose to call Bowie home. We'll continue to build on our past and we will continue to embrace our future. I want to thank you guys for being here today. Thank you for supporting Bowie as you have over the years. Thank you for making this a delightful business community, a welcoming business community. It's because of people like you that the city continues to grow and continues to prosper. So on behalf of all of my colleagues, thank you very much and enjoy your day.